If you want to rank up to the highest rank that you desire, you can't just be an aimer. While you can have really good aim and rely on it, it probably won't get you into Radiant. I already made a video about how to get to Radiant by improving your aim. This will be the second and arguably most important part to getting you into the highest ranks. Game sense. Since it's ranked and a lot of people overlook this fact of game sense and they just focus on aim. Man, I gotta keep playing aim labs, bro. I got, I gotta get on this aim grind when it's the game sense holding them back, right? Game sense is a killer for many people in comp and ranked. In this video, I'm going to talk about positioning in gunfights and clutching, remembering where people are, importance of minimap, when to check and when to not check the minimap, the art of tapping and knowing when to peek, and game sense to cut off angles by yourself. And this, I'm not really going to focus on the teamwork part because I'll have another video talking about that. This is just stuff that you can do on your own to improve your own game, basically self-reliant things. Positioning. One of the most important things is positioning. Remember from my first video I was telling you styles of how to peek and how to not peek? Well, positioning requires you to know that if you're going to engage in a peek, you want to make sure you cut off as many angles as possible so that you aren't exposing yourself to more angles than you need to. Alright, so here comes the positioning, right? I have two teammates here, so I know yellow's cleared and my guy sees all of this, so they're not close to me right here. I don't have to clear this close angle. Okay, they planted upper nest. We see one right here, one enemy right here, deep orange. There's still 4 alive. So this right here is the danger zone, this kitchen area, right? They can still swing me. So I'm watching it, right? I'm coming up and then boom, right here. Okay, so they're okay, this guy, he's airborne, but don't mind him. So instead of me swinging deep right here, right? Like swinging wide and still being exposed to this angle, I come forward, right? So I can't get peeked from kitchen anymore. I cut off an angle. It's just, a rule of positioning, right? You want less angles to fight when you're about to fight people. This guy is just in the air dying. So these guys had weird positioning, right? I mean, I guess they're just all swinging. But so right here, okay, I have 4 bullets right now. All right, this guy is playing in between here. Okay, this guy's gonna swing me. All right, I have 4 bullets, so I gotta either hit a nasty shot or I gotta position myself for the reload if I miss. So that's exactly what I do. I reposition myself behind cover. It's pretty simple, right? And then he re-peeks. We go up here, we clutch the round out. Easy peasy. Next up is positioning in gunfights and clutching. So when you start to get better, you realize sometimes that when you were fighting people that your positioning was bad, right? That you may have swung too wide, exposing yourself to another angle that an enemy was holding instead of isolating someone into a 1v1. Whenever you are fighting multiple people, you always want to do your best isolating them, whether that be by utility or if it's by objects on the map. When you're clutching, you want to do this to the max. Example, if you're in a 1vx situation, you want to be way more aggressive to isolate people in the 1v1s. That way you can even the man count down, right? And get to a 1v1 at the end. And then it's just all about hitting the shot, right? The best clutch players in all games do this. Look at Xyp9x, for example. He has this down to a science, okay? At the end of the video, I'll link the video to his top 10 clutches or something. And you can just click on the screen and go to it and then watch this, okay? It'll just give you a sense of how he positions himself and what he does and what he thinks like, and you could just reverse engineer it and check it out. Okay, all right, so this part I don't get any kills, but I want to just explain the positioning right quick. Okay, so I have a dog, so I have utility here, so I'm trying to see where these enemies are at right now. Okay, I'm clearing A main with my dog, but I position myself so I can't get killed from cat, right? Even though my guy's holding cat, I still don't want to die from cat here. Okay, so I'm playing behind Jen because these guys are about to push me, so this is just going to be my positioning, right? So this is my cover, so obviously my teammate still has cat here, but I need to watch the site and I need to fight these guys. But also I want to have cover, so I got to position myself against this take that they're going to do for me, right? So that guy, he's lost in the sauce. But you basically just see how I'm playing in and out of cover, right? So I'm just playing off my teammate, taking these, taking the kills right quick, and I'm just positioning myself so that I couldn't die from A main. Obviously, that's just it's just an easy example of positioning, right? But you're just positioning yourself to cut off angles so that you don't have to watch them and that you can fight and you can play behind cover. That's just the whole gist of positioning, right? It's just a easy noobish example. Another important thing with game sense is remembering where people are. If you can remember that you saw 2 agents on one side of the map and they are both dead, either that site will be weak now or the enemy will over rotate to compensate for those dead players. And this will make an opening into someone's defense. Now, When defending, you are playing 3A, 2B for example. If Sova darted, say, showers on Bind, and the enemy team cut sound, you guys got no info, and this team has been hitting sites based off Sova, right? Now you get a call from your B players that Sova is joining up hookah. Well, now you would want to rotate someone off A and have B your strong side, and since you have 3 there, you would want to be more aggressive on that side of the map, which would be B, and less aggressive on A, since now you have 2. Okay, so you have lower numbers. Do this by getting in ratty angles, obviously, and doubling up with your other site player. Alright, so here's my example, okay? To put it in better terms. So, say this is how the team's leaned right now, right? But these guys aren't making noise, and we have like really no info. You put a Cypher cam here, but they keep shooting it every single round, right? Okay? So, she puts her little boom bot here, right? This person puts her little boom bot. I'm not going to put the stuff on the screen, but puts a little boom bot, and then she starts making noise here to give presence. He darts showers, okay? We have people here, we take showers control so they don't have it. But as soon as he darts, he runs instantly, okay? Now, the boom bot, they're not making sound. We're not peeking because we're playing retake here, right? So now these guys start working up, right? And she just put the boom bot there just for like pressure, but she didn't clear it. So he starts droning hookah, okay? So now we hear, oh, this guy's droning hookah. We need to rotate someone over here to stack this way. Because most likely these guys are stacked, you know, over here, over on this side, right? Now I'm gonna put these up here. Now let's say this Jet has been doing the lurk role for their team instead of entering because they have a Sky, a Sage, you know what I mean? They got a lot of their hit potential over here. So they have 4 over here. This Jet's still lurking. You still want to stay true to this site because she can lurk, get a kill. These guys 2 TP, and now there's just one on this site, you know what I mean? But the importance here, right, is remembering these guys' characters, right? Because it's so mental. Now that you know this guy's here, you could maybe even cheat 2 over, right? And then it's just a 1v1 and you could play a rat angle. You could hear the Jet running on the site, kill her, then they TP, you know what I mean? Go 1 for 1 or 2 for 1, right? But that's what I'm saying is the game sense is if you remember this, it makes stuff easier. You can stack against people. You have a better probability of winning, right? So that's kind of my example. So coming from other games like Siege or games that aren't as heavily relied on the minimap for info, this is tough for players to get used to looking at. I mean, this was how it was for me. The minimap is so important though, okay? You always want to glance at it and get info from it. If you can become an expert at looking at the minimap, you'll become so much better. For example, the minimap shows where the enemy is at and who the enemy is sometimes. That way you can keep track of characters walking around the map. It shows your teammate's utility and where it is at and what it can see. Lastly, and one of the most important things I think is that you can see where your teammates are looking and when they don't have vision of something. I cannot remember the amount of times that I died because someone on my team is smoked off and they don't comment. You could blame your teammates or you could be better yourself. If you look at the minimap, you can see when someone is smoked off on your team because their vision won't give the cone to whatever they should be able to see. It will be stopped right in front of them, indicating that they are smoked off and that you should realize that you are in danger. The problem comes when to not check the minimap. You don't want to check the minimap when you're peeking an angle or holding one because it's really risky. It's a gamble if you're going to get peeked or not. So the best times to check the minimap is when someone is watching something for you or you're in a safe position and unlikely to be engaged upon. The mind games begin when the bomb is planted, and it's you versus someone else. Who's going to overpeak and hit that shot that wins the round, and who's going to stick the bomb or half it. You get better at clutching when the bomb is down to when you realize how people think. Is there a lot of time on the clock, and are you playing someone who's aggressive? If so, right when you tap, he probably will peek you. But if he isn't, he will check the bomb usually almost at the halfway point. If he's really passive, he just won't check it at all, and he'll call your bluff that you tapped. It really is different every game. You have to understand your opponent's tendency and remember how passive or aggressive they are. Sometimes you can stick when other times you can't. I found for me the best times to stick is when there's a lot of time left because people usually tap just to bait the peek to find out where the attackers are. You tap for info, right? Also, when the time is low, getting the bomb half most of the time is usually the play, unless you're playing someone who's really good at jiggling or they have utility on the bomb. Then it might be better just to fight them, right? Remember when you are in this situation, think about how much time is left and which action will give you the best chance of winning. It's a gamble at the end of the day, and each person will play it different, but the more time you are in these situations and you have some guidelines on what to do, you'll get better and better at clutching in these bomb down situations. Lastly, using your character to give you the advantage in every situation by cutting off angles. So for me, I usually play controllers, so I have smoke at my disposal. Most times, so it's easier for me to cut off angles, but if you're playing someone who has flashes, you want to use the flashes to create timings and holes when pushing. When you're playing a Sentinel like Cypher, you have cages to cut off vision and cams to spot angles. This is what you would use if you think someone's opping. Each character, just think about their utility. Is it something to deny sight like a smoke, or is it something to make them look away or get a timing like a flashbang? Or do you have something like a turret that gives you info that someone is there? Utility is there to give you and deny info while making it easier to push and fight things, while having some angles cut off. All in all, man, if you really are serious about ranking up, you want to make sure you work on your game sense every day too, and not just your aim, right? Game sense is what makes the best players, and aim just makes good ones.